Hello, my friends, and welcome to another Watch with Ray. It's been a while. It's been a while, guys. I know, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been here for you. I'm sorry. Can I make it up to you? This is how I'm going to make it up to you. I watched a few movies recently, so I'm very excited to talk to you guys about them. So they're both low budget, no budget, low budget, horror movies. The first one I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to do a separate video on the other one. But the first one I'm going to talk to you about, it is a 2023 film, I believe. I'm going to check real quick, make sure I'm on the, let's see, what does this say? 2023, horror, movie from a horror family, I should say. Like, it's a team, because it's not just the husband and wife, but the kids also are stars and help write. I believe the eldest daughter helps the father write, and they're called the Addams Family. No, no relation to the. So this again is from 2023. It's called Where the Devil Roams. And I don't know, there's not much, there's literally no trivia about this movie. So I can't tell you exactly, like, how much it costs. I'm sure I could if I really cared to really look into it, but I'm not gonna. So, enjoy that. But this is this is the synopsis. Traces of if I could read. Traces a family of murderous sideshow performers as it travels around the world on the dying carnival circuit. Legit. Also, didn't mean to tell you that it's 1930s and not real historical accurate, but that's okay. There's a lot of anachronisms, but that's, well, for as no budget as this is, I'm impressed. Let's just say that. I'm impressed for how little budget I'm sure they had. And the acting, I have to say the acting was pretty great for being as low budget. I don't know where to start. So we're talking about the 1930s. It is the Depression. It is, I'm going to say, I don't know, I don't think they tell us where they're at, but at certain points there's different accents, so I'm trying to guess that it's probably like Appalachia. There's a lot of snow, so I don't know if I honestly do not know where it's supposed to be at. But we have couple different things going for it. It's got this like, very gritty sort of, which sometimes happens with no budget, because you have really, like, you're working with what you've got. So you've got this gritty sort of realistic, sense of simplicity, which I really liked about it. I liked that they kind of like, you can tell that it's like a bunch of people who really like to get together, and they love horror movies and they like to do it together. That's like to do it together. I'm not saying that they have sex with each other. I'm just saying they like to make horror movies together. So you can tell that there was a lot of love going into it. So I'm not going to go beat by beat because there's a lot here. I'm going to tell you some of the things that I was like, okay, and there's some things I did like. How about that? So let's start with, I'll do a compliment sandwich like I usually do. So what you need to know plot-wise about this is it's a mother and father who used to be like a country doctor, and he fought in World War One, saw some shit, as I like to say, and came home, married the nurse, one of his nurses. We find, I'm trying to explain this. We are introduced to her in the opening, which is her killing her whole family. So she's got some anger issues. And her name's Maggie, and he's 7. Okay, I will save that, put a pin in it for later. And they have this daughter, and they are on the carnival circuit. You could ask me what their act is, but I can't tell you. It is a lot of dancing in place and real light singing. I don't know. But how we first open this movie is this poem. and I'm sure it's a well-known poem somewhere. Again, don't care to look it up, so I'm not gonna. But is this person without any legs comes out, and it's supposed to be like the sideshow or like a vaudeville theater, and he starts to recite this poem. This poem, no shit, goes on for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Guys. Too long. Too fucking long. I was out. Out skis. I could not give a shit. I also don't like poetry, but I could give a shit about this. So either cut it, edit it, make it 30 seconds. It's too long. It's too fucking long. I'm sure it's pretty much the whole, like, what happens in this movie, because there's so many different random things that happen. You were then treated to them on the sideshow, and there's another sideshow performer named Mr. Tips, and his thing is pretty much reciting, like, Bible, like being almost like like this, like, biblical preacher almost, you know, almost that vociferous sort of like, eloquent, not even eloquent, just a thunder, what do they call it? The, fire and brimstone sort of preacher sort of act, but then at the end of it, he just cuts his fingers off. As you do. And that's the act. So, Jesus, no fingers. Okay, cool. And then we see, what is the daughter's name? Shit, what is the daughter's name? The daughter is Eve. Again, I'm an Eve. So Eve, who is the singy lady, she goes in to see Mr. Tips as, like, how he's putting his fingers on, because the next day he's got fingers. So she goes in and he's, because this happens pretty early, so I'm going to go ahead and spoil it, because I kind of need to talk a little bit more about plot, and then we'll move on to what I liked and I didn't like. He's got this lump. It just looks like a lump of fat or an organ, and he's got a needle and thread stuck in it, and he's talking and talking. And again, everybody's so long-winded in this movie that I just start going off, and because it's not about anything. He starts, I think it's the poem from the beginning. I don't know. It's so boring. Sorry guys, I really like the movie, but that was boring. And so then he goes and he uses this as, like, he's pretty much like, you learn that he kind of sold his soul to the devil, to get this magic. And this magic is to be able to reattach limbs, but you have to say a certain spell. And this spell is what he's, reciting as he's putting the fingers back on. Also, Eva's a mute, but she can sing. So, okay, that's the only thing you need to know. That's all we're going to go with that, sewing on organs. So when we meet these guys, it's the end of, like, this season, because it's a winter carnival. It's a frozen carnival, which I thought was really interesting, because you usually see, like, horror movies with carnivals and things like that in sideshows. It's like midsummer, because that's when those things take place, is during the summer, like, carnivals coming into town. That's, used to be in the summertime, because who's gonna fucking trudge through snow to go see somebody, like, cut their fingers off, whatever. This girl, but I'm weird. So the rest of the movie is pretty much them, like, their downtime between the last show and the startup of the carnival again, and them trying to, like, find a place to, like, kind of, live and live out those few months before they have to come back. And a lot of stuff happens during that time, so we're just going to go past. And that's pretty much all I'm going to tell you. Because again, I don't want to spoil anything. I think you should watch it. I think you should support these people. Again, it's very low profit, or low budget. So, and I think you should support low budget, creators, especially ones who really love the genre. So here are a couple things I liked and some things I didn't like and some things I liked again. So we're going to do a compliment sandwich, because you know how I like to end on a high note. All right. So things I liked, I liked the atmosphere. I liked, how their cinematographer was fantastic. I'm assuming a lot of it was done with drones. There's some very beautiful actual drone work, because it's like from these very sweeping shots, which I can only imagine was done with the drone, because ain't nobody gonna get it like running a helicopter to make nobody's running a helicopter to do this. And so those were gorgeous shots. There's something beautiful about the scenery at that time of year, because everything's snow covered, and it's very creepy at the same time. It's very chilling. There's no, really no sounds except for because all the animals are hibernating, so there's not a lot going on. So yes, the scenery is great. I really liked Maggie has anger issues. I'm putting that nicely. So I liked the way everyone kind of they knew what she was like, and the people who love her, like her daughter and her husband, both know that she's a homicidal maniac. So try to they know what's coming, but they're not going to stop her from things, but they're just going to be like, all right. And also at the same time, Seven has seen some shit, like I said, so he has serious PTSD to the point where somebody if someone's gets blood on him, he at one point had seen a fight in the carnival, and he started to lose his mind because he has PTSD, and it's 1930 and no one has therapy. So, things like that. So a lot of times when this stuff is going to be happening and Eve can tell her mom's going to go berserk, will blindfold or put her hands over her father's eyes so he doesn't see what's happening, because it's out of sight, out of mind. So poor Eve's got two parents that are real stable for her. No shit that she's mute, right? The other thing I would say is, besides the acting of Maggie, I mean, honestly, again, for low budget and probably not a lot of acting experience, everybody was great. Everybody was great. There was nobody that I was like, ugh. I mean, some of the sideshow performers were fine. I'm trying to think of the visuals. When it gets gory, it gets fucking gory, man. There's some serious sewing on of limbs was pretty gnarly, I have to say. And when things start to rot, yuck. But great. Because you know how I love my gorehound. And I liked some bit of the ambiguousness. I kind of as much as I bitched about not knowing the fuck was happening at the beginning, I kind of like that it is ambiguous, because I still can't tell you what the fuck. I mean, I stopped the plot because I was like, okay, well, that's all I need to tell you. But at the same time, I was like, I don't know if I can fucking finish this, because I don't know if I can tell you the whole story, because I don't think I grasped the whole thing either. But you don't leave this movie going, man, this sucks because I don't understand it. No, I think it is horrific enough that you'll get it. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I think that's it for the stuff that I really liked. Let's go into some things I didn't like. So there's a lot of stuff, and again, this is money-wise. This isn't their fault. This is just what they had. A lot of the costumes, a lot of the props, a lot of everything is just not. It's anachronistic. It's a lot of stuff looks like today's things that we threw back, which is fine. I mean, this isn't this isn't fucking Oh Brother Where Art Thou. We don't have Coen brothers money to be making these props, so I totally get it. So again, kudos for working with what you got. But sometimes it took me out a little bit with there's a lot of people with some face tattoos and piercings, and I love both of those things. However, 1930s, probably not. Especially for the tattoos and the piercings. I can see if you're talking about somebody from if there was a performer from the East Indies or something like that, they might have their traditional Hindi piercings and things like that, but not in 1930s. Because these are ones we see today. This one girl playing a mandolin, she has piercings everywhere on her face. I'm like, that wouldn't have been. And tattoos. So it's just one of those things I don't know, I just didn't feel I felt that was too modern. The other thing is, again, and part of this is the good thing and bad thing is, like, again, I was kind of adrift at certain points going, like, I'm liking this, but I'm not exactly sure what is happening, why there's a lot left you need to interpret, which is okay, but you've got these long swaths of people telling a poem and people telling this, like, spell or prayer to the devil. I don't, unless you point it out to me, I'm not going to understand it, because you're certain to lose me. So that's another thing. Like, I'm like, there's a line that Maggie says at one point about Eve meeting her brother and sister. That's kind of like left, like, okay, where did you go? Plot, what? Come back. I never brought up again. Okay. Yeah, and there's no explanation for a lot of things, like why Maggie's homicidal. No one knows. Okay. Like, just, you gotta go with it. I mean, I get why Seven. Okay, okay. Why is his name Seven? Why is his name Seven? Okay. I mean, it's fine. It's just one of those too modern, too kind of weird. It doesn't work. But the yeah, so, and the main conceit, I'm not exactly sure of what is happening. And I said put a pin in the carnival dance act. Yeah, I don't exactly know. And everyone is like, yay, it's great. I'm like, is it? So yeah, so let's get back to bottom bun. What did I like? What's another thing I enjoyed? Overall, I think it's a quick run. It's an hour and 30. It's something different. One thing I really would have liked is if it had stayed in black and white. I think that would have actually helped it a little bit more. And I was thinking it was going to, because that first shot with the gentleman without legs, it was in black and white. I was like, oh, that's going to stay in this. This is awesome. But it doesn't. It's very dark, because it's like supposed to be cold and, cold and lonely winter. It's very dark, like dark tones. But I think it would have been pretty awesome in black and white. So I would say, like, and again, I still don't understand the very end of the movie's act with their carnival act at the end. I'm still confused. But I think everybody on the was great acting. I think the gore was great. It's got an atmosphere. It's got some atmosphere, better than some of the stuff I've been watching recently. So there's that. So I would say, like, if and it's free. So my God, it's free on Tubi. So if you have an hour and a half, you want to watch something like kind of spooky, go for it. I would like to see other stuff from this family. I think they have a vision, and it's an interesting one. It's something different, because the next movie I'm going to review. Whoa, okay. So I mean, it's better than probably Night Swim. Anyhow, so that's it. I'd say 1.5 thumbs up. I would say, okay, let's do our ratings. So ratings are blood and gore. I'm gonna give this 2.5, because it's pretty cool. It's pretty bloody, pretty gory. Like, not like where I'm usually used to, but it's up there. Like, for the low budget it has some gore. Spooky, scary. I'm gonna say 1.5, just because I don't know what the fuck was happening half the time. Sex and nudity. There is mom and dad. Maggie and Seven do run out of the tent, and I would assume that they were hide the sausage. It's alluded to, and there's a couple times where I think Mr. Tips is trying to hit on the teenage girl, which creeped me out. And there's something happening with this guy that they end up showing up at his house. Something going on with the young girls. It's weird. Anyhow, so I'm gonna say, I'm still gonna say 1. Like, there's nothing, like, there's no real rules. You don't see any sex or nudity, really. Except for buns. You see buns. And then fun entertainment. I'm gonna give this a 2. It's like 2.5, maybe. I mean, again, it's an oddity for certain. It's an oddity for sure. So yeah, I would say go ahead and watch it. I mean, overall, go for it. Again, I'd like to see what this family does next. You can catch us. We have our bi-weekly show at boozeboozandbloodpodcast.com, or you can catch us on Stitcher or Spotify or the Apple icon, or literally any place you find podcasts. Right now, in case to get you excited, we are starting, so we're going to do this the whole year, but we're doing it on and off. We're not going to do a full, we're not going from the beginning to his end of his oeuvre, but we are doing Hitchcock, and we're just doing the horror, suspense, ones. And we are starting at his silent films. So, we'll do a month when we don't have programming. So for the month of January, we don't have programming. So, this month we are doing The Lodger. We just wrapped that one up. And we talk so much that we're actually releasing these on one a week, because that one itself is about 2.5 hours, because we had a lot to talk about, because there's a lot to talk about in that wonderful film. So we have The Lodger, and then we have Blackmail, and then I cannot remember the other two off the top of my head, so you have to stick in, stick it in. You have to stick around and see which ones we pick, because I can't remember off the top of my head. You can find us a whole bunch of different places. If you like us, please like and subscribe. My New Year's resolution is to get more fucking reviews out to you guys, so that's what I'm doing. All right. In the meantime, keep it spooky.